Hi everyone. Good morning. It is Thursday and I have a few minutes before my next client. So I figured I would, good morning. I have a few minutes before my next client. So I figured I'd hop on and talk about something that comes up quite a bit, which is the idea about spontaneous sex versus scheduled sex. And so I figured I'd be spontaneous to talk about it. So good to see everybody. Thanks for hopping on. So let's talk about spontaneous sex and what the benefits are and why it's such a big deal for so many people. And then let's talk about the benefits and pros and cons to scheduled sex. And I, of course, want to hear your opinion, so please share them in the comments below. Because I only have a few minutes before my next client, I won't be able to read them all just yet, but I promise I will add this so that you can watch it on my IGTV after it's done. So many of you, and I say many of you because most people really prioritize the idea of having spontaneous sexuality in their relationships. And the idea that spontaneous sex is often more exciting and more pleasurable than scheduled sex. So, for those of you who believe that spontaneous sex is better, whatever that might mean, than scheduled sex, I want you to give me a thumbs up. If you believe that spontaneous sex is better than scheduled sex, give me that thumbs up. So one of the reasons that people claim that they appreciate spontaneous sex more than scheduled sex is because it feels to them that there's more desire behind it. And it's more passionate. So the idea that all of a sudden you're like, let's do this thing. Isn't that what everybody says? Let's do this thing. No. But let's do this thing. Gives people kind of this sense of passion and urgency, and I can't wait to, ravage you in whichever ways you've decided to ravage each other. I hear that a lot from men, that they appreciate spontaneous sex. And this is just me making some observations from my professional opinion, and that is, a lot of times men like to take advantage of spontaneous erections. If anybody's out there and they like to take advantage of spontaneous erections, whether you're a female who appreciates that in a partner or you're a male who has spontaneous erections, and more often than not you want to do something with them and take advantage of them, put that eggplant emoji in the comments. Let's get silly here. So oftentimes spontaneous sex can be driven by spontaneous erections. And that's awesome. That's wonderful. I think that if you have a partnership where you can just say, hey, I'm ready to go, let's do something with this, that's great. But what I've noticed is that for a lot of women, they don't appreciate the spontaneity, that feeling of pressure that comes from, hey, I've got this thing going on, let's make use of it, let's have fun with it. Maybe it's the way that it's presented or packaged, so to say. But I would say a lot of women prefer to have scheduled sex because then they can physically and emotionally prepare for the union. And of course, I'm going to be focusing on healthy relationships that are trying to express themselves sexually as an extension of their feelings for each other, as an extension of their emotions for each other, and as an extension of their connection. So for those of you who want to have sex, a lot of women tend to prefer scheduled sex. Now, what's great about spontaneous sex is that you can try new things. You're often maybe limited by time, so it's probably like a quickie time, or maybe you've noticed something on TV and it's turned the two of you on, and you're like, hey, I'm feeling a little frisky, let's do something. So you might try something different in a different place, different location in your home. You might try different positions. Maybe you've read something sexy, or you've read something that's kind of prompted you to try something different. So spontaneous sex has great advantages when it comes to feeling like it's coming from a passionate place and feeling like you're going to be trying something new, which is always exciting. Scheduled sex, I feel like, for long-term relationships where, partners are torn away from each other by obligations and responsibilities, kids, fur babies, jobs, all of that. What's great about scheduled sex is that you can look forward to it. Anticipation is such a huge aphrodisiac for so many people. Again, we're going to be focusing on healthy relationships that feel like there is a desire between them. And I keep saying that because there are a lot of people out there that are working with me and who have questions about why they have such low desire. And sometimes that can be physical and other times it can be relational. So we're going to just put those to the side when it comes to this. So when it comes to maybe scheduling that sex and that sensual experience, whatever it is, the spontaneity comes from what you end up doing during that time. But the scheduled part of it helps you to carve out that special time for both of you to prepare yourselves. Again, some people have, concerns about their body. They want to make sure they're well groomed, they smell good, they taste good, they feel maybe like they need to get their minds right before they go into it. They need to tap into the sensual part of their brains versus, being in mommy mode, daddy mode, employee mode, employer mode. So it's really important for everyone to kind of figure out what works for them. Oftentimes, if you're experiencing spontaneous sex in your relationship often and the frequency is good enough, you don't have to schedule, and it's not really something that even comes up. But over time, as you have other obligations and responsibilities that you have to tend to, scheduling sex is a really viable option. You're hearing it from me. I'm a professional. And I absolutely think that scheduling sex is a great thing for long-term couples. Again, for the anticipation of it, and to help just clue in so that you can be really present during that time. The other thing is, remember, when you see that on the calendar, you can start to behave in a way that is more attractive. You don't want to pick fights. You don't want to eat things that are going to give you tummy troubles. We're all human. We have these bodies, so we have to take care of them, especially when it comes to being ready for a sexual experience. I think it's important to have a mixture of spontaneous and scheduled whenever possible, but scheduled sex is better than no sex. Just putting that out there. And if you agree, give me a wave. I'm so happy that y'all joined me this morning. See, spontaneous works sometimes too. But I will absolutely be answering a lot of your Ask Me Anything questions. Again, I had over 120 questions. It's taking me a little while to get through them, but I'll be posting them here, of course, and on my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Viviana Coles, over on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook. Houston Relationship Therapy is my private practice. That's where I am today. Yay! Here in Houston. It's the office here. And if you saw my story earlier, I am fueled by Starburst this morning. No, actually, I'm going to share them with clients. I like to share. Sharing is caring. Awesome. All right, girls and guys. I'm so excited for the next season of Married at First Sight. Y'all found out it's going to be airing July 15th. There's going to be a special before on July 8th, so set your DVRs. Join us live. Live tweet. I will be live tweeting throughout this whole season. I cannot wait to see what everybody's up to, what y'all think. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.